Mission Pro Wrestling, the symbol of excellence in women's sports entertainment.
Good evening, Mission Pro family. This is Mind Runner. I am in the house, and gracing me with their presence, ladies from Lipgloss and Ladders, KB, Ash, Benny in the house. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Good to see you, Ash. I know you have some nice pink headphones as well as KB. It looks like might be some exclusive merch coming soon on the Lipgloss and Ladders. However, Ash Benny may be trading those pink headphones in for some golden headphones because coming soon, if you haven't seen it already, it's coming now. This is the final fight for the theme song Turmoil. Do it my way. Who will emerge victorious? We'll have to find out. It's coming soon. Make sure you hit the like and, of course, subscribe. But you got to hit that bell because you don't know when that's going to pop up. It should be coming soon, perhaps next week. But we have a lot to get to. First of all, KB, how are things going with you? What's been on your mind? I know all of you have been excited. There's a small independent wrestling show in Vegas coming up soon. I know it's it's like WrestleMania, I think it is. How have you been?
I've been good. So it has been April snow showering.
Yes, big time.
Oh my goodness. As soon as I put the boots away, like I know every year it snows in April, sometimes May, and as soon as I got comfortable, here comes more snow.
Exactly.
But then now I'm fine. Just prepare for, the little indie show WrestleMania.
Yeah, a little small, little thing. How about you, Ash?
I'm doing well. I'm super excited for WrestleMania. Lots of traveling. It's going to be a very busy week, but I'm ready for it.
But it's the fun kind of busy, right? It's the fun kind. You got the busy, but the fun. It's the kind at the end you're like, oh man, I can't believe it's over. But I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad it did it. Well, that's cool, and it's so great. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Great time to be a women's wrestling fan. Lifting women's wrestling up. I feel like Thunder Rosa held a sign last night that women's wrestling is alive and well, and I think I agree with that 100%. So we've got a lot of wrestling news to cover, and all the stuff going on with wrestling, especially with WWE Women's Division, I had to reach out to two of the best minds in women's wrestling, KB and Ash Benny. And you never know, there might be a run-in. If there's an issue, there might be a run-in for a third opinion. You never know what might happen tonight. But there's a lot going on. So without further ado, let's get to the women's wrestling news, and let's get right to it. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit AEW first, and then we're going to get into some nitty-gritty with the WWE Women's Division. Some shoots possibly going on in that Women's Division. We'll get, especially apparently in the last hour, somebody tweeted some drama. We'll get to that in a second. But coming off of Dynasty, the Tramp is still the champ. Ash, you were able to watch Dynasty, and you got to see the Timeless One defeat the Greek goddess and her little minion. What did you think of this encounter? What are your thoughts on Toni Storm?
I love Toni Storm. I think that she's doing some of her best work in her entire career right now. I love all of her little sexual innuendos. I think they're all so hilarious. Yeah. Everything that she said in the press conference, I'm just like, just continue to let her say whatever she wants. It's gold. I thought that the match itself, though, was really, really good. I I know a lot of people don't really like that she keeps winning with the small package, but I think I think it's funny, and I think it. What were you gonna say?
she corrected everybody last night on Dynamite. She's calling it her big package.
Oh yes,
And
yes.
She was on commentary last night on the Thunder Rosa Chris Statler in a match, and she had the entire guy, all three, Taz, Excalibur, and Shivani, silent on mute because they were laughing so hard. The stuff she said. But go ahead. Yeah, she's great. She's on commentary, and the match itself, as you said, now it's called the big package.
Yes.
You think that's perfect for her?
Yes, I think everything that she's doing right now is just working perfectly for AEW and what the women's division is right now. I will say, though, major shout out to Megan Bayne. I think that her presentation and everything that she has been doing in AEW so far has been really, really promising. It would have been just because of like the predictability. Like we knew Megan wasn't going to win here. Mm-hmm. I think that maybe like a little bit more build up.
Yeah.
Perhaps like a little more really letting us feel that she is like the Godzilla of the division before we had this match. But I'm still really, really happy with what we got here.
Absolutely. KB, there's a lot. We're talking before the show. There have been some success stories, obviously, people leaving AEW, going to WWE and finding success. And it sometimes goes the other way as well. Toni Storm seems to be one of those people. Your thoughts, since you're not as much of an AEW fan, but you're just from what you've seen with Toni Storm, do you feel like this is she's an upgrade, or is she having her best career right now?
Absolutely. I feel like she's thriving at AEW. I feel like she's get to be herself, or if not being herself, she's being like this character that she created that just can just do whatever. Because like she is one of the people that catches my attention in AEW. Because I didn't really pay attention to her much when she was in WWE, but over here she went from the Outcast, which was doing fine, and then when she, became Timeless, it was like wow. And then when she left as Timeless, came back to like her original character, but it was still like her acting in Timeless. It was just like, okay, this is mind blowing. I like this. I just love like her growth and like what she's doing with this character.
I love it. And it's interesting. Actually, we were talking about Megan Bayne. One of the fears a lot of AEW fans I've talked to had is Megan going to become the next, because Jade Cargill was a great TBS champion, but I feel like Tony got to a point where he didn't know what to do with her because we just kept continuing the streak, and it got to a point where it was like, what do we do with her? And then not long after she lost the TBS title, she was WWE bound. But it's like with Megan, I feel like she needed to dominate a lot more before this match, and perhaps they could have found a different opponent. How difficult is it to build up a powerhouse? And like what you mentioned that you would have liked to have more of an interaction. Who would have been a good interim opponent while building up Megan Bayne? Ash, who would you have rather her seen, or who do you think should be her next opponent?
Ooh, that's a really great question. I feel like all the stuff that she was doing with Chris was really effective. I think everything that she was doing on AEW television leading up to this point was super effective. Mm-hmm. But I would actually maybe love to see her go up against like Willow, have like a nice program with her. I think that would be really, really cool and interesting.
Awesome. I always thought that it'd be cool for her and Thunder Rosa to do a segment in Thunder Rosa where Timeless Toni Storm is like the old movies. Thunder could be like a telenovela, like those, like, listen, bitch, I'm going to take your title, and something like that. But also in the women's division, we've got the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and we had one of the matches in the brackets. The former Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné, our CEO, took on a returning Julia Hart. Julia Hart kind of going more for like a Jeff Hardy, Lita kind of outfit this time instead of the traditional that she used to have with the now the Hounds of Hell. And I the picture in the upper right I just had to include because she drops like Julia on her head outside the ring and then has time to serve face to the camera right afterwards. I mean, to me, I thought that was kind of cool. Actually, you got a chance to see this. this match. I want to go to KB first. So just KB in general, kind of keeping with the upgrade from coming over. Do you feel like the former Sasha Banks is finding a new path, with both AW and New Japan? Is she finding a better path here than the Sasha Banks were? And where did you stand kind of when she and Naomi dropped the tag team titles and left? Do you feel like, this is kind of a sour thing, or is she doing well in your opinion, just from what you've seen?
Well, when her and Naomi left, I was rooting for them because I feel like, why are you booking tag team title champions in singles matches?
Yes.
Or possibly competing for the main title. As far as her leaving, I do feel like go for, what you were. And I do actually miss Sasha Banks. I'm kind of happy she got her first loss. But like finally she got first loss or whatnot. But I just feel like as Mercedes Moné, it just everything her way. It's just like I was tuned in at first, but then it's like starting to tune away because you just expected her to win at this point.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm not getting no real good stories. It's like, okay, who's next? I beat this person. Who's next?
Yeah, you're hoping that she's going to start really lifting up some of the other talent. Ash, you got to watch this. And of course, Julia Hart has really impressed me as well. What are your thoughts on this match? And do you agree? Do you feel like this is an upgrade? Do you feel like she's finally finding her rhythm? Do you think she's still kind of struggling? Or what are your thoughts on the Mercedes Moné presentation, the whole thing about her always winning, and a certain fallen goddess might be the one to really shut that down coming up? I don't know.
Yeah. So my whole thing is that I feel like I'm really enjoying the Mercedes Moné run. I feel like around like the Chris Statlander, around those matches, like when she went back to New Japan, had that match with Momo, the Mina Shirakawa match, all of those back to back when she was just putting on bangers. I think that's when she really found her footing and her stride. So I'm really happy that this match made it on pay-per-view, just because I feel like if it was a different circumstance, it might not have. So I think because Mercedes was attached to it, I think that's why it made it to the pay-per-view. So I think that was really cool. I'm happy with the match itself. I feel like the beginning was like a little bit, there was like a little weird timing. Some stuff were off, but eventually they found their footing and they were able to tell a good story. I think that the goal of making Julia, of the crowd loving Julia, was successful. The crowd was into it. So I think with that, they achieved their goal. But yeah, I enjoyed the Mercedes Moné presentation. I think that this is kind of like the perfect way to have the first match between her and Athena, because there's a real unpredictability here.
Yes.
Like Mercedes could win, but I feel like Athena could also pull off an upset, and it also wouldn't be the end of the world if Athena were to lose here. So I think it was like a smart booking choice on Tony's part to have them first.
We're getting a taste. We're going to get a taste of Athena, and I imagine the booking from between now and All In Texas. I know Double or Nothing's coming up, but imagine title for title, because Mercedes has kind of become the belt collector, and now we could have a title for title where she says, "I'm going to take your ROH title if you lose," and then she's like, "Well, Athena's like, I'm going to take the TBS title." That's going to be that. I think this is the match. That's the match everybody's hoping for, but. Yeah, and Julia is clearly, I think, a face at this point too. I think that was fantastic. But this is the brackets as they stand, and of course, last night, tremendous match. Chris Statlander seems to be a great dance partner for everybody. You mentioned earlier, like when it was Mercedes versus Statlander, that first match, it seems to be when things clicked for Mercedes, and then going forward, she just started doing very well. She advances, and then the winner of Jamie Hayter and Billy Starks. I think it's going to be Haterade versus Statlander. I think it's going to be Hayter versus whoever. And I love Harley Cameron. I do think although Athena's going to win, Athena's definitely going to definitely going to feel the wrath. But this is going to be quite the tournament going forward. I think it's going to be Interesting. Do you think it's going to be? I mean, like you said, Athena could upset Mercedes, and it's not much of a risk. Mercedes can upset Athena; it's not a risk. It's just that first taste of going forward to double or nothing. So it's going to be very interesting. Also, just a little bit, there was some rumors circulating about Britt Baker released from AEW. Turns out there was a troll spreading fake news and all that jazz. But it did get a lot of people talking, and I'll start with Ash and then KB. Just real quick, Britt Baker, what do you know? Do you think she would fit in WWE? Is she kind of approaching? I wouldn't say Tessa Blanchard level, but like, is she kind of one of those, like, there's talent, but there's also a lot of baggage that comes with it? Would you bring her into NXT or WWE if she did leave AEW?
If she were to leave AEW, honestly, I feel like bringing her into NXT would kind of shake the table. Because her personality would kind of make a lot of people be like, I'm gonna show up at the PC early today, and I'm gonna do this today. You know, like that natural competitiveness, I think, would come out. So I could definitely see her in NXT or in WWE in some capacity.
Imagine next Royal Rumble, you hear the doctor will see you now. That would get some pops. KB, do you have any thoughts on Britt Baker? What have you heard? She doesn't quite have the spotless reputation in the locker room.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like it's rumors that she was like didn't get along with everybody. So I don't know. I feel like WWE is more strict on that. Like they don't play around with that. So I definitely will see her having to go to NXT first just to get the hang of how the locker room works before going to the main roster.
Yeah, CM Punk does think highly of her. Maybe they're kindred spirits in a way, a little bit. Because CM Punk gets along with everybody backstage. That's he's friendly with everybody. There was no issues in AEW. But yeah, but no, he could. I think he might take her under his wing too, maybe, and kind of help her up. But yeah, I think NXT would be a great fit for her. But yeah, we got to watch out for that fake news. Wessel votes. Man, don't troll. Just be cool. Wessel votes.
I first saw that and believed it, and then I didn't see nobody else tweeting about it. So I went back to the page and I seen, oh, this is spelled wrong. So it's definitely not real.
He even sourced like he put like Fightful in the tweet, and I clicked. Sean Ross Sapp had nothing about it, so we'll see. But speaking of disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Our girl Iyo is not having it. She is not one to be overlooked. Triple threat match, of course, finally signed. Apparently, not without some commotion. But you gotta love Iyo not having it, and she deciding just to drop kick everybody. KB, what were your thoughts on this whole match signing? The treatment, the way they're treating Iyo Sky, is it kind of a personification on how this whole match is being looked at? Like it's Bianca and Rhea are just ignoring Iyo, and she's the champ. And again, going into WrestleMania, what are your thoughts on a triple threat versus just a straight up one-on-one match?
I'm actually excited for it because honestly, I wanted Bianca versus Rhea. And at Elimination Chamber, when Bianca and Rhea were face to face, Iyo came out like, "Wait a minute, I might win this title, so hold on." But then, and then Iyo ended up winning. But you always see like Bianca and Rhea face to face, and then Iyo like, "Wait a minute, you gonna put some respect my name? I'm the champ." So it's like Iyo is the underdog, and I would not be mad if she won. But I'm still, Team Bianca in this one.
Exactly. Yep. Ash, your thoughts?
So I agree with what a lot of KB is saying here. I am kind of bummed the way that Iyo has been kind of treated like an afterthought, just because it's Iyo Sky. Like it's three pillars of the division. Yes. It's really the three pillars of the division. So the way they've been doing Iyo hasn't been sitting right in my heart. But all of that to say, I do think that the way that we got here was interesting.
Mhm.
The roundabout way that we got to this triple threat match. I'm happy that we got here though. I really enjoyed the curveball and the addition of Iyo. I know that everybody for that Raw was like, there's no way Io's going to win. It's going to be Rhea versus Bianca. This is just like something for like a nice, marquee match on Raw, and ended up swerving us all with Iyo winning the belt. So yeah, I think I'm very happy with the triple threat. I think it has match of the weekend potential.
Yeah.
I seriously think
Great.
this has match of the weekend potential. So I'm very, very excited to see this match.
These three ladies can cook. Remember the match they had where it was the Iyo versus Rhea and Bianca's special referee, which that Rhea lost her mind that in that match too. But I think there's a lot. It like you said, Iyo is the champ, but she's also the underdog. It's kind of weird how I kind of like those kind of swerves, and all three of these ladies are gonna cook, and it's gonna be tremendous. And I'm seated at the table. I've got my silverware. They can cook, and I will eat whatever they serve. It's gonna be awesome.
They're gonna feed families.
Yes, families will be fed, and then families will be destroyed. In this next. Okay. Charlotte Flair and Tiffy time. Okay. Well. Okay. I just got to know. For obviously the promos have been interesting. The little split screen promo was kind of an interesting one. First, I just want to get your thoughts, and also just, is Charlotte helping Tiffy, or is there a little bit of an ego kind of at bay here? Is this working into a shoot? Ash, your thoughts on Tiffy versus Charlotte?
So I've been watching a lot of Charlotte's press and interviews, and I know that basically what she has been saying is that she wants the people that she's facing to rise up to the Charlotte Flair standard, which that is a completely fair sentiment. But for this type of match, I don't know if that's the right approach, because we need to also prop up the next generation. We need to make sure that Tiffany continues to look like a star and continues to develop.
Yeah.
Whereas in that side-by-side backstage interview, Charlotte ate her up. Yeah. Everybody knows it. Everybody's discussed it ad nauseam at this point. Charlotte completely destroyed her, which is why Tiffy's back was against the wall. Tiffy's back was against the wall for that in-ring interaction that they had. And I know that you were talking about something that came out on Twitter. I think it was the script that was originally supposed to be discussed between Charlotte and Tiffany. I saw that right before I hopped on as well. And
I didn't see that actually.
No,
I saw what Charlotte tweeted. Charlotte tweeted basically, after being blindsided by my personal trauma on television, my character says something on air that was not true. And she wanted to clear the air, and she said that Chicago is not really smart.
Directly addressing things now. Okay.
Well, that was kind of an interesting, she was almost trying to appeal to the Chicago fans a little bit, but they weren't having it.
I think the boos threw her off, and I feel like as someone who is a heel and a good heel, I think she's not used to that impact of boos.
Yeah. They were almost giving her the Dom treatment a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and the Dom, that was it. The who's in my DMs comment. Yeah, there's the tweet right there.
Okay. Yeah.
After being blindsided by my personal trauma on live television, my character said something on air that was not true, and I'd like to take this opportunity to clear the air. I should have never called the Chicago fans smart.
Cheeky. Very cheeky.
But you make a very good point about, on one hand, the veterans should be trying to help everybody rise up. But then again, there is that, throw you into the fire and, hey, I'm setting the bar here. You need to meet me here. You need to, and you need to do the work and practice and get there. I'll help you off camera, but on camera, you need to match me there. KB, what are your thoughts? You think Charlotte's being a little bit too obtuse, or you think she's is she helping Tiffy, or is this on Tiffy? And then was Tiffy right to kind of go there on SmackDown and then take off like she did instead of standing her ground?
Yeah, her standing her rolling under the ring after that kind of turned me off because it's like, stand on business. You said what you said. But as far as like Charlotte helping Tiffany, I do feel like the women's locker room has gotten so much better because back in the Attitude Era, they were competing for even like TV time or whoever it was, and I feel like the locker room now has gotten a little bit more better. But I do feel like some wrestlers are not obligated to take people under their wing, but at the same time, it is helpful because it's gonna make them look good as well. So maybe it's just giving like real personal issues backstage, and to where they can't even keep it professional at this point.
Yeah.
Question for what do you think Tiffy it was a little too soon for Tiffy, or do you think she's gonna lose the title? Do you think do you think this is a necessary growth for anybody to become a mainstream star?
I think this is needed for growth. I think she should take the lessons and get better. Because I honestly thought she was ready for when she had the Money in the Bank run. I was behind her winning against Nia. But I feel like this is showing her she still has some struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I honestly don't know who may win. I feel like I won't know until No, I don't know. I don't know if it's her time to lose or her time to retain. Maybe depending on how next Friday goes.
True. Very true. Ash, you feel the same?
Yeah, I feel about the same. I just don't know how a Tiffy loss would look. I just hope that she can survive that. I don't want her to get lost in the shuffle or anything to happen to where it's like 6 months and it's like, where's Tiffany Stratton? Like, what happened to Tiffany Stratton? So
they're bringing back the 24/7 title for her or something,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, but I definitely do think that this showed that there's still some work that needs to be done. At least from the babyface aspect, because I do think that was a detriment to this feud, was like stripping Tiffany of everything that makes her interesting and likable with the crowds, was essentially her heel work. Yeah. So
I think, and that's interesting. That's one of my complaints is when, and you see it in AEW and WWE, you see it in a lot of wrestling where someone gets popular as a heel and they become an obvious baby face, and like the mistake I think is to change them, because what made them a baby face, what made them popular, was being kind of a heel. Like right now, Hurt Syndicate and AEW are really over, but like if they start being baby faces, like obvious baby faces, it'll ruin why they're so popular. Like you look at an MJF, or you look at like some of the best like heels. In fact, The Rock, everybody hated The Rock until he turned. Everybody hated Rocky Johnson until he became The Rock, or the Rocky Maivia. But then when he became The Rock, that's when he finally got popular. So yeah, there's definitely something to that. I'm looking forward to this. I'm loving, and again, she's Trinity to me, but Naomi with the caution tape outfit is killing me. I've always liked Jade. I actually was excited when she got the opportunity to come to WWE. As big at AEW market as I am, I felt like it was the right place for her to go, because I thought that she kind of exhausted what she could do in AEW. I love the three of them together with Bianca and Naomi, but this has been compelling. I think that if Jade's going to have any dance partner in a match that's going to help her look tremendous, it's Naomi. I think I do think the triple threat's going to be the match of WrestleMania, but this being not for a title, not for anything other than just ass kicking, I'm excited for this. Ash, your thoughts on Naomi versus Jade and what led up to it?
I'm so happy that a non-title women's feud is making it onto a WrestleMania card. Like, I'm so proud of Jade and Naomi for getting this story so over to the level that it has gotten, especially Naomi's character work. I think that this heel turn has just been everything. I love the new look. I think she looks absolutely fantastic. The temper tantrums are excellent. The beat downs, all of it. Like, I'm with all of it. This is one of my, the tier, one of my most anticipated matches, if not my most anticipated match of the weekend, probably. Like, I'm so excited to see this.
KB, has there ever been a wrestler to win an Emmy for their performance in a promo? And why should it be Naomi with that whole the tier, the you know, and like the best villains, the best heels are the ones that believe they're right and kind of have a point in their promo, even though they're heels. They kind of, and I just feel like Naomi's eating this whole thing up. She's playing a great villain to Jade, who's a superhero, of course. What are your thoughts on this match, and do you think this is going to deliver as much as the anticipation?
I'm excited for it. I agree a lot with Ash. I think it is going to deliver. I think, Naomi here's turn is justified, especially when she first admitted to it, when she was saying everybody turned her back on her. Like, yeah. Speak on it. So
She felt that. She felt that.
I did. I felt it. Cause she, I don't know. This is just like the Iyo, Bianca, Rhea feud. I anticipate watching what's going on every week with them. So this is going to be I think this is my top 3 matches I'm waiting on. So
when Bianca left the ring, she said, "Bianca!" I was like, "Oh, yes. No. Oh, you like, yeah. That's the best. That's the best stuff." Oh,
after you called her out her name, you calling for her, like, seriously.
I did it. Oh boy. All right. Let's KB.
Yeah.
There's a gauntlet match next Friday for winner earns a championship, the tag team championship match at WrestleMania. How's the WWE women's tag division going for you, in your opinion?
As I stated earlier, I feel like that tag teams should not compete in singles runs if they're the champions. It's kind of the same here. You got Lyra and Bayley, who just fought for the Intercontinental Championship, and now they're teaming up. And I feel like they're going to win based off a promo with Liv and Raquel a week ago talking about them. And I just feel like that tag team is, I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be there. Where's Lash and Jakara? Like,
thank you.
With the rest of the tag teams, though, I'm finally happy to see Kayden and Katana come out, because they was out for a minute. They disappeared. I'm loving the new Secret Hervis.
Yes. Pledge allegiance to Hervis.
Yes.
Our American champion. You know.
Yes. My president.
Yes. My president. We had the inside information, because we actually have connections with the White House staff, that Donald Trump, actually the real reason he wanted to buy Canada was just so that Chelsea Green could be our next president. So that was the real motivation there. So, it's all full circle. So, thank you, Hervis. You make a very good point. Now, I feel like the Metaphor girls are in the same boat as Roxanne Perez. It's kind of like, are they main roster? Then what are they doing on NXT all the time? And you have an established tag team. You don't need to throw one together to put into a gauntlet match. I would rather see them in this match. Heck, pull up the Chemical X girls, Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, because they make a great team together.
I love them.
I think that you could, even if you're still going to have this TNA WWE partnership, bring over the TNA former tag team champions, Jody Threat and I think it's
Danny Luna.
Yeah, Danny Jordan or something like that. You bring her over. I just think this, like you said, I have a frustration in general when a champion is in another title tournament of some kind. Not that in real life someone would want to be a belt collector, but I feel like you're taking a spot away from somebody that doesn't have a belt that could benefit from this.
Right.
Would you agree, Ash? I mean, do you think that's kind of, do you feel like this is thrown together, or do you feel like there's a thought behind all of this?
Yeah, it's definitely giving thrown together for sure. I mean, it's nice to see some of these tag teams get the spot on the SmackDown before Mania weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I just don't like these thrown together tag matches. I just don't like these thrown together tag matches for Mania. And it also makes the mid-card women's belts feel like an afterthought, because Lyra has essentially been really given nothing for her entire run. And the last 2 weeks, they kind of put together this program with her and Bayley. And Chelsea has just been kind of like in this limbo with Michin, B-Fab, and Zelina every single week. So it's a little disappointing. I wish that we could get a bit more for them for Mania, even if they were on like a pre-show. Hell, I was saying this earlier today, like, why not just have like Chelsea Green like host WrestleMania this year or something? Like something to get them involved. I don't understand, but
that would be brilliant, because you would have the secret Hervis all over the place, and Chelsea is kind of becoming like she's kind of got that same Toni Storm thing where she is. What has gotten her over is this whole, Chelsea persona. Don't change her, but don't have her face Zelina Vega. Have her face heels, because when you have a Chelsea Green face Zelina Vega, Zelina is the one that loses it. It hurts Zelina more than it helps. And like the same thing with Michin. I wanted Michin to find success, but if you put her against a beloved character like Chelsea Green, it actually hurts Michin a little bit. And I don't know, at least we got the B-Fab Michin combo out of it. I did like the I know it's thrown together, and I do think Lyra, the Bird Lady Lyra, needs some she needs a real villain to face rather than a thrown together. But as far as matches go, I really, really, really liked the Bayley Lyra match, to the point where I think it should be our banger of the week.
Hold on to your Kulos Mission Pro fans. Rock on, it's the banger of the week.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this match here. I mean, we don't have to spend too much time on it, but as far as thrown together, we talked earlier about veterans aren't obligated to lift up the new talent, and I think that's an excellent point. However, Bayley, the role model, I do feel like in her heart that's what she's trying to do, and I really like this match, and I liked the way it ended with a little bit of respect there. I hope they don't turn this into like a turncoat thing or something, like if this is going to end up in some kind of like turning on each other. But I thought this was fantastic. KB, did you got a chance to watch a little bit of this match? Watch the highlights. Do you feel like as far as the match itself, do you feel like this was a good showcase of not only Bayley, of course, but of what Lyra can really do in the ring?
I caught bits and pieces because I didn't got used to Raw being at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Gotcha, I hear you.
So now I'm back to watching Raw while getting ready for the week. So like I said, I caught bits and pieces. For what I did see, I did enjoy it, but I just have questions of what happened with Bayley versus Roxanne. I feel like that was going somewhere, and it just stopped all of a sudden.
Well, we can definitely start talking about that. I do have some NXT news as well, but yeah, I mean, that's another one of those things. Is Roxanne is she main roster? Is she NXT? And it just seems like, in the past, you pulled the trigger, their main roster, and that's it, their main roster. But now it almost feels like there's a there's a gray line or something. Yeah, it's almost like the boundary between NXT and WWE is kind of fluid. But then if that was the case, why aren't Jakara and Lash in the tag team gauntlet? I almost feel like Roxanne would be a great opponent for Lyra here, because that would be, because she could be that. She's a great heel, and I think that would be a great person to go with. But yeah, it's just the match itself was great. It ended with Lyra getting a swift victory. Not necessarily the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling, the surprise roll up. Thank you, Simon Miller. But I like the way it kind of ended. I did like kind of how Bayley was still kind of eyeing that Intercontinental title, but I feel like this as a match, it was great. But I kind of felt the same way. Ash, like, why not bring Roxanne up and have her feud with Lyra?
Yeah, and they've already had amazing matches down in NXT. Like, they had that amazing spring break-in. I believe it was like Tatum Paxley, Lyra Valkyria, and Roxanne, that triple threat. That match is fantastic. They had a fantastic match at Stand and Deliver last year. So the story is already set to be told. Roxanne was called up. She was in Elimination Chamber. She was in the Rumble. So I don't know what she's doing on NXT, but I guess plans changed, and now they want to make sure that Roxanne is still involved WrestleMania weekend to some capacity, which I get.
Yeah, the difference too, like you said, if you're going to introduce, and I hate calling them mid card, because that's like like the TNT and TBS championships; those aren't mid card AEWs. But like, if you're going to introduce more belts, you got to make them feel like they matter. And I just feel where Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea's done a great job, but that's because Chelsea is Chelsea, and she's walking around and she's doing the whole American thing and all that. Whereas Lyra, it's like it's almost an afterthought. Oh yeah, she's our Intercontinental champion. Yeah, and you can argue that the importance of a belt has to do with its champion, but if you're not really booking them in a compelling story, it becomes less and less. And that Roxanne was called up, but now she's apparently going after the NXT North American champion. I don't understand what's going on with that. But let's talk NXT championships. I will say Jordynne Grace becoming WWE and joining this whole thing has been an upgrade. When her music hit, we're getting a fatal 4-way stand to deliver. The returning heel Julia. Friendship is over, as you can see with her boot right on Steffi's face. And of course we got Jordynne Grace, the juggernaut herself, and Jada Parker. Interesting. What do you think? What are your thoughts on these four ladies, and not just the match itself coming up, but their impact on the NXT women's division? Ash, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Of course, we've got these three new signees, and then Jada Parker getting there as well. What are your thoughts on these four?
So I gotta say, I feel like it makes sense. I think a lot of people predicted that those three ladies, Julia, Stephanie, and Jordynne, were for sure going to be there was going to be some type of involvement with them in the main event scene for Stand and Deliver. Julia had that weird injury, and then she was kind of off TV for a little bit, but now she's back. I'm very happy that they turned her heel, by the way. I think that that's the right choice. I think Julia being heel is definitely the right choice for her and her character. I have to say, I think that everything that Stephanie has been doing since she's arrived on NXT has been super effective. I think she's a complete badass. I absolutely love her. Jordynne as well. She looks really, really good on NXT TV. And I think Jada being in this match, I think a lot of people were surprised that Jada is in this match. But I think a lot of people are underestimating how popular Jada Parker is right now.
Yeah.
Like, she is incredibly, incredibly over with the crowds. Like she needs merch. Like like to the point where she needs merch. Yeah, like she like for sure.
Like Grand Theft Auto style shirts and hats and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And I think that her ability to be able to dance and to be able to look like she's been here before has taken her farther than most people in the division who might have a little bit more in terms of wrestling ability. So I think because of that, shout out to Miss Parker for sure.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think it's the right call. I'm interested. I feel like it's 4 very different personalities, different match like moveset styles. So I'm very curious to see how the match is gonna go and flow. But I'm excited to see it nonetheless.
I'd like to see Miss Parker eventually go main roster. I'd like to see her and Rhea Ripley lock up. Ooh. I actually think that would be quite a match. That would be, and I think even promo, like, you talk about, where Tiffy's struggling a little bit with promos. I don't think Jada would have a problem cutting some
not at all
sharp promos
not at all.
in the main
and
roster.
I don't think she would have to go personal either. Like, I don't think she would have to go below the belt either.
No, but she'll keep it professional, but she'll definitely make it spicy. I'm still trying to get her little shoulder thing that she does, the little KB. I mean, are you surprised Miss Parker's in this mix, or has she earned this spot? And what are your thoughts on the other 3?
I feel like, honestly, if it might be a possibility for her to be there to eat the pin.
Yeah.
I
see that,
to make the rest look strong, but would I say I'm surprised? No, I feel like she has grown so much from the time she has debuted, and she's I agree with Ashley. She's very over the crowd. She definitely does need some merch as well.
Is there a chance that after Stand and Deliver and new Miss Parker champion, is there a chance?
That would be a major plot twist.
No, these multi-people matches. I mean, I remember when Trick lost and Ethan Page won. That was like a very big.
Oh yeah, that was a major plot twist as well.
So I mean, there's like a lot of different combinations to where somebody falls on somebody and the ref just counts it. Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Here's the thing too: is title. You could always switch it back, like a couple weeks later. You could always have something happen when it switched back. I think it'd be interesting if Julia and Stephanie just get obsessed and the Juggernaut just beats everybody up, and then Jada gets that she gets that spot right at the end, and 1, 2, 3.
That steal.
Like a true heel, yeah.
Imagine would you think the crowd would lose their mind if Miss Parker got the 1, 2, 3?
I'm gonna be in the building, so
so definitely make sure you get some pictures there. There's also, and again, Roxanne Perez is somehow involved with this somehow. I don't know if she's going to be the 5th or 6th member of this yet, but the qualifying matches there's more qualifying matches for the ladder match for the North American title. Keilani Jordan, of course, in this. Sol Ruka and Zarya, again, going back to tag team. They're developing them as a tag team, and yet they're both singles in a singles competition here. But going to Ava and protesting and wanting to be in this match. Do you think they're going to put Roxanne in this ladder match, and then what does that do? If she wins the North American title, like, she's the former NXT champion, she's supposedly on the main roster, and now she's going for the North American championship. That seems a little odd. And if she doesn't win this ladder match, who does, and what? I'm not sure I'm following. I'm all for the match. I think the match is going to be sick, but the story is what's confusing me. KB, help me make this make sense to me.
If I could, I would. Yeah, I question that too. Roxanne's supposed to go back to the main roster, then come down, and now she's fighting for the North American instead of NXT. It's just like, what's happening here. It's like what happened backstage or something. But
Yeah.
as far as like the last 2 spots, I don't know who I would go for until all the spots are filled. As of now, I'm like, Kaylani won in Vegas already. Let her win in Vegas again. That's just me.
All right. Ash?
Me personally, I want Soul to take it. I want Soul to take it. I'm really hoping that Soul finally wins the big one. I feel like she's been kind of just floating in the division for like the last couple of months. She's so
been riding
good.
the waves. She's been riding the waves, right?
Exactly. But she's so good, but they don't necessarily know what to do with her. She's not called up yet on the main roster, so it's just kind of been like in this weird limbo. Roxanne, on the other hand, I feel like if Roxanne wins it, it's just to add another accolade. It's just to add like another notch to her belt, just to say that she has every single thing that you could possibly have in NXT. She's been NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, NXT Women's Champion twice, NXT Women's North American. She won the Iron Survivor, I think it would just be like literally to check it off.
Just checking boxes. I don't know what Fallon Henley might be up to. Maybe she could pop in, and you never know. Maybe a team. Imagine this. Imagine Masha Slamovich showing up from TNA. I mean, that would be quite a surprise. We do have something we need to get to in a moment, but before we get to that, we have one report that we promise all our Mission Pro fans, the Mission Pro family, we have to update you on our champion. She's out there, and she's now possibly WWE ID. Let's get to the Izzy report.
I know that I'm on my way up to the stars. I can see it, it's not too far. I'm a dreamer, I'm not letting go.
All right, in our Izzy report, really quickly, firstly, on April 18th, she is at Potter Mania taking on Nina Samuels, and she is going for the Pro Wrestling Eve Championship match. Izzy this is the little girl that Sasha Banks brutally stole her ribbon and embarrassed her, made her cry. Bayley, of course, super excited for her. But now she's trained really hard, and she's broken that whole persona of, she's just a fan that likes wrestling. She is a wrestler. She's our Mission Pro Wrestling champion. And not only that, but also she is entering the WWE ID. She's got the championship match. There's a special attraction match where she's hoping to get into the title or the tournament. Could she become the WWE ID champion, or is it too soon? We'll have to see. She's going to have to clear some more on her trophy case. I thought it was a little interesting. It's a little too small on the screen, but I thought it was interesting that Bayley retweeted her about and she said, "I'm going insane," that this little girl is now not only a wrestler, an accomplished wrestler and a champion, but she could possibly get into the WWE ID program, find her way to WWE, and as much as I want her to finish the story with Mercedes Moné, I think that would be a compelling story for her to show up at Texas and challenge her for the TBS title. I think it would be equally compelling for Bayley to come face to face or tag with Izzy. Ash, your experience, are you familiar with Izzy's latest diving into the independent scene and her accomplishments? And I do have a question I want to ask you both later about the WWID program, the pros and cons, but just your thought on Izzy and all that she's accomplished since she was that little girl crying in NXT.
So I have been following Izzy's development in her career overall. I'm super proud of her, so happy for her. I think that if she were to enter the tournament and win, I think that there would just be something so beautifully poetic about it because of the way that she entered the WWE fandom and the way that most people first initially met and saw Izzy. So I think that would be such a really, really cool full circle moment for her, and I really hope that she gets it.
Hope so too. KB, you an Izzy fan? Are you a BFF?
I know who Izzy is. I just not have followed her journey completely, but I do catch like when she like win matches and stuff. Like I know who she is from that Sasha Bailey match, but like completely watching her, I have not. So, but I am for her like living her childhood dream though.
So you're not a BFF. You're an acquaintance though. You're
I'm an acquaintance. You can say that, yeah.
You're an acquaintance. I like her, but yeah, we're not. There's no wristband here. I do want to ask y'all, and I'll start with KB. The WWE ID program, you know, a lot of it sounds really, really promising for independent talent. And, you know, the more and more I learn about it, there's a lot of pros. It seems like a lot of benefits to helping almost getting the giant machine of WWE backing giving a spotlight, to use a term, a spotlight on some of these independent shows, which can really help young talent that are busting their tail on the indies. But then there's also there's been some pushback, like, is this also a form of bogarting talent to keep them from AEW or keep them from, you know, signing other contracts? And is there a fine line? Is it kind of like, you know, I've talked to a lot of American Idol contestants, you know, at my old show, Reality Check Radio, where they would talk about, like, you would sign a contract, they would, you know, scare you into signing a contract, and even if you were eliminated like first, or even if you were the runner-up, no matter where you were, American Idol owned your music, and you couldn't sign with any other label except their label for a number of years. Is this actually, do you feel like, I mean, I don't know enough about it, maybe there's more, but could this also be a way of WWE isolating talent away from other opportunities by getting them to sign a WWE ID contract? It doesn't matter if you're a young independent, you know, getting a handshake and a hot dog, and then suddenly WWE comes along. I mean, maybe you take that chance. But what are your thoughts, baby?
If the contract is like that, I do feel like it take away from them going somewhere else. Let's say it don't work out, or they don't, like you said, eliminated first, or just become runner up, and they don't get like a full on WWE contract. It hinders them if that's the case. Because if it don't work out here, I should be able to go somewhere else. It's kind of like when wrestlers get released, they can't do nothing for 90 days. It kind of just stops them for a second.
Yeah, so, Ash, what are your thoughts?
I have to agree. I find like the entire concept of the WWE ID very fascinating, because I've been kind of following it to see if there's been any major promotions who are interested in like really been working with WWE towards it. And I do think in a lot of ways it can be seen as predatory, not only to just like the companies themselves, but to the talent potentially. If, for example, they're not using you, you know, if they're not really utilizing you or doing anything with you, if you're under contract, that's it. But at the same time, it can also be extremely beneficial. So I still think it's very early in its conception. I want to see where it's going to go. And I'm very curious to see like people like Zeta Steel, to see their development and to see exactly where they lead to with WWE.
It's interesting because like Tony Khan, you know, was asked about it, and he said that, you know, we'll have to wait and see, and he was talking about like our lawyers will have to wait and see if we trip. He said he used the term tripwire or something like that, but I think what he was trying to make an analogy, like let's say Zeta Steel doesn't get, let's say Zeta Steel doesn't get used and is sitting in catering, or has this contract, and it's not sitting in catering, sitting at home, but has this WWID contract. Can Tony Khan approach her with an offer if she's got the WWID contract? You know, and is she forced to say no? Like Tony Khan coming around, hey, I want you to come in and I want you to be the next TBS champion, and she gets told no. I think you're right. It's early, but I think that might be some of the problems that we might see is that it's going to limit the offers that go to their table. So, it looks like it could be a benefit for those that do get chosen to move up, but I don't know. I almost feel like I felt like I got burned a little bit with some of the Vince stuff, being a fan, and I'm like, oh no, why are you doing this? I hope this doesn't turn into another one of those. But anyways, we're excited for Izzy. It's her Izzy report, and she's gonna go kick ass, take names, and hopefully she'll either finish the story with Bailey or she'll finish the story with Mercedes Moné, but she's gonna finish the story just like Cody Rhodes. Okay, ladies, it is time, and I am wearing my Top Rope Squishy, my Maddie Anderson merch today. Not just because I'm representing Maddie, who is of course, she's enjoying motherhood right now. She's kind of going the Ty Mello route, but the host of Top Rope Squishy, she has a segment called The Hot Seat, and we at Mission Pro Wrestling, she has given us her permission to use the hot seat as a way of challenging our guests sometimes and seeing if they truly are worthy of being called a wrestling fan. I decided, well, here's the thing. I keep it fair. It's a hot seat, but I keep it fair. So it's time for the hot seat, and in this case, it's going to be up. I clicked the wrong thing. Let me go here. There we go. It is Women's Revolution themed. These are 5 trivia questions, multiple choice. So I'm not leaving you out there. 5 multiple choice questions. Then there's a bonus question. That'll be like, I guess, a tiebreaker. But these are based on women's evolution. More so, these are all as the women's division of WWE has evolved from where it used to be. There have been a lot of milestones. There have been a lot of firsts. And that's going to be the running theme in these questions. These are different firsts that have happened. And we're going to see if you either remember or are aware of these momentous women's evolution moments. Are you ready?
All right.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Who won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble in 2018? And just feel free is it Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, or Asuka? And I'll tell you what, we'll do this as both of you can both agree on a question. We'll have you both work together. But what do you guys think? Who won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble in 2018? Was it Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, or Asuka?
Asuka.
You know, KB? Yeah, okay. I was making sure.
All right, you said Asuka. Really?
Yes.
Asuka? Well, that's correct because that's the first question. Absolutely. Yay! Ding, 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 ding. All right, absolutely correct. Asuka. That was an easy one. Yeah, we got to ease into it. Question number 2. Which wrestler became the first ever WWE Divas champion in 2008? Was it Natalya, Michelle McCool, or Beth Phoenix? Which wrestler?
Michelle McCool.
Michelle McCool. Maybe these are too easy. All right. Nice job. Nice job. What? All right. Here we go. Question number 3. In 2016, who won the newly introduced WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 32? Was it Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, or Bailey? KB, who was it?
Woo!
It was woo! Very good, very good. Yeah, these might be too easy. All right, here we go. Question number 4. Which wrestler made history by winning the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? First ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match. KB says, feel the glow.
No, Mela is money.
No,
Say
I'm
Mela
not
is
pointing.
money.
I'm pointing at Carmella.
Oh, you're pointing to Carmella. Mela is money. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right, Carmella. See, these are way too easy. These are way. We have to step it up for y'all next time. All right, question number 5, the last question before the bonus. Which team won the inaugural WWE Women's Tag Team titles? Was it Boston Hug Connection, the Iconics, or Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross?
The Boston Hug Connection.
The Boston Hug Connection. You guys destroy these questions. This wasn't even the hot seat. This was not even the lukewarm seat. This was the cold seat. But we do have a bonus to really solidify yourselves in Mission Pro Spotlight greatness, which you're probably not going to have a problem. But how many days did Shayna Baszler's NXT Championship reign last? How many days did it last? Now, there is some controversy. Some people say Asuka had a longer reign than her, but that was partly, I guess, it was before it was the true NXT brand. There's different, but so that's why I'm asking, how many days did Shayna Baszler's NXT Championship reign last? She's allegedly the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion.
I don't know.
You got me on this one.
Should I guess?
If you can get within 50 days, I'll give you credit.
682 days.
If you can get within 162 days, I'll give you credit. What do you think? Lower than that. Lower than
One?
Lower than 600.
600.
It's lower than 600.
Like 532.
That's close enough. I will give you that. It is 416 days. That is 416 days total. She's allegedly, again, there's a little asterisk because people are arguing about this and that, about the there's a little bit about that. But of course we do need to bring in really quickly before we close up here. We got to make sure that this was a great chat that we've had. You know, I just feel like if we had maybe one more voice to voice their opinion about WrestleMania coming up and everything that we talked about, I wonder if there would be somebody. What? Wait, I've got something coming in here, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have with a steel chair. It is the genius Rhee. What's going on?
I put my money in the bank. I'm cashing in.
Oh, she's money in the bank. She's cashing in. Rhee, thank you so much. We're tagging in,
but I like to know.
It's all right. Were you following any of the trivia? Were you able to answer those questions?
I was trying to get in before the Shayna Baszler. I was like, tag me in.
We got you. Well, we covered quite a bit, but we want to ask you to get your thoughts on WrestleMania coming up. We talked about, of course, the triple threat with an Iyo Sky. Do you feel like Iyo Sky's getting the credit? Is she being overlooked? Is she going to retain? Is this more about Rhea and Bianca? We also talked about Charlotte and Tiffy and how that's going, and then
it's
yeah,
going.
exactly, yeah, how that's going. It's going, and we also talked about Jade and Naomi and the Emmy-winning performance by Single Tier. Okay, so your thoughts. What are you most excited about? What are you most excited about at WrestleMania?
Well, I think I'm having a vignette. I don't know who's taking over.
I know. What's going on? I think
like Retribution.
Mustafa Ali is messing with our thing. We actually blame Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu sometimes puts a hex on stuff. You're here. It's a little Max Headroom thing. You know, sometimes I might maybe adjust your. Yeah, there we go. We got you on voice. We got you there.
Okay. long as you can hear me, it's fine.
So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and this could be, who knows? It might be Tiffy time. Not afraid of what you might say. Could be a lot of different things. Could be Naomi. She's she's a loose cannon now. Caution is definitely needed. What are you looking forward to the most at WrestleMania?
Looking forward to oh my goodness, this is gonna be an amazing WrestleMania. So I'm really excited. I think the match I'm looking forward to the most, the women's match. I was not sold on the triple threat. I am now sold on it. I'm happy it's a triple threat. I don't think, surprisingly, I know the resident Rhea fan here. I don't think Rhea should win. I think Bianca or Iyo should take that title, but I think I'm really excited about as many women's matches that we're getting. I feel like we should probably get more.
Yeah.
And of course, Naomi and Jade, I'm definitely the most excited about.
So good.
Because Naomi's getting her shot. So I'm excited.
Love it. And it's like, and we were talking earlier about, Jade is such a great, has such a great presence. In AEW, one of the arguments was that she wasn't as developed a wrestler as people would have liked, but what they don't understand is Jade was at every Wednesday morning before Dynamite practice, and she had a reputation of showing up. Dustin Rhodes would talk about, and Thunder Rosa as well, that Jade was putting in the work, and so I think she's there. But I feel like if you're gonna have a dance partner for WrestleMania, have it be Naomi. She's not only going to help put on a banger, she's going to help you look good too. I think that's and just we're asking earlier, Rhee, do you think the Emmy should open up a category for best wrestling promo, and why should it be Naomi?
I have been a big proponent of this. I've actually said this fun fact. I've actually said that the Emmy should have a segment for sports and wrestling. It should be one of them. I feel like WWE should be for best supporting actor,
right. It's sports entertainment, so it might as well. I mean, right. if AEW would allow it, I think Toni Storm would be a good rival in that category as well. But definitely Naomi. When she called out for Bianca, when Bianca's leaving the ring, that still gets me thinking about it. And we talked a lot about the whole Charlotte and Tiffy. What are your thoughts on Tiffy versus Charlotte? Is this a case of too soon? Somebody in over her head? Is it a case of a big ego, not wanting to make room for young talent? Is it a bit of both, or something else?
I think while I do think two things can be true at once, I feel like this was kind of Tiffy's sink or swim moment, and I think Charlotte was like, "I'm not going to make it easy for you," and we've seen it demonstrated with a lot of the male talent as well, where they don't make it easy on the newer talent. So I think that was a little bit of a case of it. I do think that Charlotte did get a little shook by the crowd reaction for sure, and I think at this sensitive moment in her life when she's coming back. And she's been gone a year. I can understand both. Yeah. And I think Tiffy wanted to really get her back for that promo. She wanted to get her back. You buried me.
Yeah. She tried to run, but she kind of tried to run. She, if you're going to get somebody with a zinger and then roll out of the ring and run away, that's almost like, I don't know. To me, I would have rather her stayed and kind of given her a face or something. But
if she did that woo and stayed in the ring and looked her dead in her eyes and just did that,
I would have ate.
Woo or something like that. The crowd was behind her. The crowd would have been all for that. We talked about the lack of transparency or direction, who is called up from NXT and who isn't. We thought that Roxanne Perez was called up. We were kind of talking about she'd be a good opponent for Lyra for Intercontinental title, and yet we're having Lyra versus Bayley, and now they're a team in this tag team gauntlet. KB definitely had some thoughts about the tag team, the way that whole thing's being handled, and your thoughts on NXT, and then also could we see possibly I guess an upset, but could we possibly see a Miss Parker being NXT champion rather than Julia, Stephanie, or Jordan?
That would be a swerve. That would be, but I don't think so. I definitely think Stephanie Victoria is holding on to that title. I don't think it's time for her yet. I do agree with the Wise Roxanne back in NXT because I thought she had her swan song kind of at Bitches Day, but I thought we sent her off. But I'd rather her be booked that weekend than not just floating around. So I'll take what I can get. But it is weird. I thought the Meta Girls were up. I guess not either. So why are they not in the gauntlet? But okay.
Yeah, like what? Where are the Meta Girls and Chemical X? You know, you got Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan. They're a tremendous tag team, and they're not even in the that seems to be a frustration when you have established teams and they're not used as a team. That was one of KB's frustrations: is why do you have tag teams doing singles matches? You know, do you share that frustration?
Same. Yes, I do. I and the opposite.
Yeah, having singles, like, okay, I guess Liv and Raquel had needed somewhere to go after all that Rhea Ripley stuff, but making them tag team champions where you've got established tag teams, I don't know. Do you feel like that was a smart? Is that a good move? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is a good move. Maybe that was the right move to make them champions. What did you think?
With them it's a little different because they were an established tag team. They were making their name as a tag team.
Yeah.
Before both of their injuries. My issue is when it's like, okay, you're the tag team champions, and we're gonna have you in the tournament for the North American, for the United States or the Intercontinental Women's Championship, or in the Women's Championship picture, and it's like, oh no, you have these belts right here. Keep them.
That should be its own. Yeah, that should be its own title match. Yeah, you should actually book something like that. Well, Rhee, we appreciate you with the run-in. You know, no disqualification. No disqualification. We're gonna make this we're gonna give the winner. The winners go to Team Lipgloss and Ladders, the Anarchy in the Arena, the Wall Games as it is. We want to remind everybody, of course, make sure you tune into Lipgloss and Ladders. And another piece of fake news besides the Britt Baker was on April 1st. It was fake news that they were disbanding their show. Apologies to all the heartbreak that joke caused some people. I mean, there were a lot of people in the fields. It wasn't until I just happened to notice, and I totally wasn't got. But I just happened to notice the date that was press release went out, and of course, but all right, you got me for about 10 minutes. I'll admit that, but I'm excited.
We posted it early for a reason.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
You wake up confused, like what?
You'll see you're preying on that grogginess, the pre-coffee, like what? They're broken up. But,
exactly.
All kinds of exciting things. There's exciting things and a lot more collab stuff. I have a proposal for y'all. I am working with I don't know, you guys know our friend Dora the Explorer, and she and I have been talking. We want to continue to do something that honors Trey and We Love Wrestling, and we also want to have some fun. So I would like to invite you. Will be the first podcast that we would like to invite to, and we want to kick this off post WrestleMania and lead up to SummerSlam. But we would like to invite Lipgloss and Ladders to be one of the first teams to participate in our We Love Wrestling draft. And just what it's going to be is you'll work as a team, so it's not one person. You'll be the team Lipgloss and Ladders, and we will have a draft night where just one person represent at the draft. You guys can all decide who you're looking for. You're going to draft 8 female wrestlers. They can be from any promotion. They can be independent. They could be from WWE, NXT, TNA, AEW. We're going to go off of cage match stats. We're going to go have cage match stats. You get a point, 1 point. We're going to keep it simple, though. You get 1 point for every win. If you're on a tag team and the tag team wins, you get a point. If you get a singles win, you get a point. If you win a battle royal, you get a point. But it's going to be that simple. And like, so for you could choose Mercedes Moné and Rhea Ripley and Masha Slamovich on your team. You can recruit. We're going to have a draft night where your team and the other teams will join or have a representative to make their picks. And then we will update each week. We will have an update. We'll post on social media who's in the lead. And at the end, the winning podcast team will be presented with the We Love Wrestling title belt.
Ooh.
That you can
Let me get my
proudly-
blazer together. Let me get my blazer.
No, let me formally invite Lipgloss and Ladders to be the first team we've invited and to join. What do you say, or do you want to get some time to think about it?
To be determined. I'm down, but let's to be determined. Let's do it.
Yeah,
All right.
man.
Lipgloss and Ladders. It is official. They're the second team because Mission Pro Spotlight's going to have its own representation, but I will actually be stepping away. I'll let Dora and Angel, they'll manage their team. I am just the stats guy. But we also have another competition. Rhee, I don't know if you know about this. If you remember from last time y'all were here, there's a final that needs to take place, and it's going to be taking place very soon. We're going to pre-record it and air it sometime in the next week or so. But the finals of Theme Song Turmoil. Angel Marie versus Ash Benny for the final Theme Song Turmoil. Ash, you're gonna have to. Yeah, I know you're already listening to all the theme songs out there, getting it right up here. It's gonna be a clash, and who's gonna win the golden headphones for Theme Song Turmoil? What, Rhee? Do you think Ash has got it?
I'm in her corner. I'm coming out. I have the towel ready. I have the stool.
She's coming out right behind me. Right
Holding
behind me.
Well, it's going to be an awesome time. We're super excited for all this cool stuff going on. Super excited for WrestleMania. Take a lot of pictures. Mark out like it's no tomorrow. Have so much fun. I know you're going to have so much fun. And let us know what upsets do you think are going to happen? What are going to be the biggest surprises to come out? I'll start with Rhee, and I'll work clockwise. What do you think is going to be the biggest shocking or surprising moment to come out of WrestleMania weekend? Or will there be upsets, or is this going to be just a fun time?
I'm hoping for just a fun time. I would love to see some upsets, but I feel like we're gonna see some foolery in the Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. We're gonna see some shenanigans.
CM Punk's Seth Rollins impersonation. Did you see that where he put on the coat? You're like,
Yes.
That was cracking me up. How about you, KB?
I feel like it's gonna be shenanigans in that match, but also maybe some shenanigans in John Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting. Is Cody gonna lose the title to heel Cena? And
I think he is.
I think so.
And Cena has sold his soul. Can you believe that? He sold his soul.
I've been waiting for this.
Ash, how about you?
Yeah, I'm thinking Cena's gonna leave Mania weekend as our new undisputed champion. I think that might be the big swerve of the weekend, the big shocker of the night.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining. Again, go check out Lipgloss and Ladders. Anything cool you guys got coming up on your show? Any or is WrestleMania the thing coming up?
It's WrestleMania.
Yes, lots of WrestleMania content coming.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, on behalf of Ash, KB, and Rhee, and we know Gabby, we know you're out there. This is Mind Runner, And without further ado, it's time for me to say goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
Awesome. Thank you so much.